Hello and welcome to the Beauty Dharma Summit. I'm Leslie Kristen and I am here with my dear friend and the absolutely magnificent Lila Veronica. Welcome, Lila.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you. Yes, she is fascinating. I'm just going to say that. Like, she's fascinating. We're going to have fun swimming into some cool places. And I am going to share a little bit about Lila because I was just mentioning to her, I'm like, how do I explain what you do? Like, what? She's so unique. She's so cool. So you're going to have a really good time. So Lila is a former professor of environmental policy at The Ohio State University and has spoken to academic, nonprofit, business, and government organizations for over 20 years. Lila is one of the top leaders in the mind-body awareness movement and leads people to a next level in their human potential. She is a speaker and embodiment expert. She helps business owners align the energy of their bodies to a higher potential so they can receive the value they create. Lila is passionate about elevating spiritual business owners and thought leaders so they can help even more people. She hosts retreats in Colorado, where she lives, and works virtually with clients all over the world. In her free time, Lila studies spiritual texts, cooks healthy food, and is learning how to garden. Yay, getting our fingers dirty. Nothing better than getting in the dirt, right? Yes. So
one of the fastest ways to tap into feminine energy. Mother
Earth. That's so true. So that's the conversation that we are going to have today, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, is that masculine, feminine energy, and how to utilize that. So I'm excited. Before we go down that road a little bit, I've got a couple questions for you, Lila.
Okay, I'm ready.
Ready? Awesome. Okay. So the first question is, what does beauty mean to you?
For me, beauty means a feeling state of loving what is. Feeling state of loving what is. Beauty is there's this sense of love. I would say there's a sense of awe in it as well. Probably love and awe in what is, and whether that be the body, the beauty of a flower, and the awe of a flower, whatever it is, the love and awe, because there's even ugly kind of or painful situations in life can be beautiful in some ways as well. And so there's this level of love and awe, I believe, that beauty contains in the human experience.
Wow, I love that. That is deep. That is deep. I can tell you could feel that. Yes. I've asked every speaker this question, and every single one, none of them like say anything superficial. You know, it's like, oh, just this what is, like you said, that embodiment of yes. Okay, so the second question I'm going to ask you is, when did you discover your beauty?
Oh, I love this question. I was actually thinking about this today, because I was, coming to chat with you about beauty, and I was like, when was the shift for me? To be honest, when was the shift? And it was really, I did mirror work. So I used to really, really hate my belly.
Your belly?
My belly, my stomach. So most of my life, I did not like the way my stomach looked. And now I'll put it out there. I'm grateful. I'm proud. I'm like kind of braggy. I'm like going in my 40s and I'm wearing crop tops. Like, whoa,
You've got a ridiculous body.
And it started with recognizing where I was. Like, people would see me, and I'm grateful to be here with you, because I'm sure people see many of us like this who are doing cool things in the world like you are. they see us as these confident women and we must just love ourselves and like the way we look and all the things. And it's not like that, actually. Sometimes the, you know, the overdoing and the overconfidence feeling that I used to have almost was like hiding the fact that I didn't feel comfortable in my own body. I didn't like the way I looked. So, you know, just if you don't totally like the way you look and feel, then walking around in the world is different. You present yourself different, right? There's like this sense of guardedness or uncomfortableness. And so when I started doing mirror work, I basically took different parts of my body, started with my face and then worked to my belly. And I would I would practice where I'd look at it in the mirror and say, I love you. 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 I had to get to the point in my mind. I created this thing where I'm like, if I can say it 5 times without crying, and if I can say it 5 times and really believe it, I'm doing good. It took me a long time. I also I said, I'm going to take baths for 6 months because I had lived the first 34 years of my life just go, 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 very much in the more of a masculine energy. Action, 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 go, 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 go. So I never actually even slowed down to look at my body.
Yeah.
No, I just, you know, I did exercises maybe and stuff, but never really to look at it, see it visually. And so we're such visual creatures. You know, we have eyes that take everything in the world and help us experience everything.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm going to take baths for 6 months and do this mirror work. And it is 7.5 years later, and I'm still taking baths every day. And I still have a big mirror that I look at myself in because the body is a reflection of what's going on inside. And the mind will show you if you don't like the way you look or if you like the way you look. And it's all okay. But for me, I needed to really look at myself visually and be like, I love you. And here was the fascinating part. And they say this, okay, you hear this all the time, but this happened. Once I started to really visually look at my body, and of course I was doing, you know, exercises and all of those things, but once I really started to visually see myself, look at myself, I lost 35 pounds and have never put it back on. Because I love my body now, right? And I've watched it actually age, and I feel like there's a lot of people in my life that have seen me for years, and maybe they don't see me all the time, and then they see me and they're like, every time I see you, I feel like you're aging backwards. And, and it was from that moment of choosing to love myself, and it's like, so we're talking today about masculine and feminine energy. So the feminine is caring from the heart enough to really choose me and say, I'm beautiful. I love myself. So that's like the feminine piece of the choosing, but then actually taking the action and taking the baths, looking in the mirror and doing the work as a practice day in and day out, no matter how many times tears just flooded my face because I didn't believe it. It took me 6 months until I didn't cry. 6 months every day saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Because I was just really in a struggling place in my life, going through divorce and all these things. So that was basically the start of the journey. And it took about 6 months before I was like really rested into like, yes, I do love my body. No matter what happens, no matter if I get a scar on my leg, a slash on my face, I gain a bajillion pounds for some reason, unbeknownst to me, I'm going to love my body. I'm going to, this vessel that my soul is in, I'm going to love it from a caring heart place. And I'm going to take action to make sure that the body knows I love it. And so that was pretty much I would say my beauty journey. I was always into like fashion and clothes and shoes and all this fun stuff. But really feeling beautiful has been a journey of seeing myself more fully and loving all parts.
That is lots to think about there. Lots to think about. I am definitely going to start taking, see, I am a shower person, but it's a time thing. It really is. And I love what you're saying about that is there's so much that I see that with clients even, that, there's an armor. There's this, whether it's makeup, or it could be makeup, it could be clothing, it could be the big Chanel bag, or it could be, like there's a lot of stuff that can give us that strength. And in that non-loving way, it's like just kind of adding to that armor, right?
This is fascinating. I've never even thought about like this, but I love it because there's, a couple people that pop in my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. It's like using the beauty, and it's just so cool because we're talking about feminine, masculine energies today. And it's like using the beauty, that feminine essence of beauty, and then using it as more of a masculine, like armor or weapon, kind of, not in a harmful way, but in a way of like, I'm this stature, or I'm going to put this so, I seem a certain way, or I'm going to, create all this so I don't seem approachable. Like there's all sorts of ways to use beauty as an armor and a defense. And I never even thought about it until just now.
Yeah.
It's pretty. And I used to do that. I used to have a closet full of everything, every color of all the shoes, every boot and heel, and no. And I'm not saying anybody, if you like fashion, that's your thing, fine.
That's really cool. Mm-hmm.
Totally cool. Like I love all of it.
Yeah.
But what I recognized is like, I had all this stuff really as an armor, as a protection, as like a feeling of like, if I have more stuff, I'm gonna feel better about myself. And really what I recognized too through this beauty journey is that it's better to have exactly what I like.
Yes.
Exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Than to have all the things, And so really don't deny myself what I want now. Because I know if I really, really want it, and it's something I'm really, really going to wear, and I really, really love it, then I'm going to get it, versus just having it to have it, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And I have to say that from growing up in Europe to living in the United States, I mean, and again, I remember, and living in France too. I mean, I remember going to school, and over there, like people wear the same outfit several days in a row, which here you would kind of wonder. Now it is quality clothes. Now, sometimes it's like, okay, we could definitely wash those, it's time to do it. But, again, it's part of, but they would have, very fashionable, good quality stuff and small closets. Where here, I mean, some places you buy clothes and you actually get like a grocery cart, and you're like piling, and stuff doesn't even last you through a season. Yeah. So it's really interesting how a lot of times it can change on just socially the things that we learn, or economically, or even when you look at, for example, let's say this handbag that is, I don't know, maybe like a Vuitton bag, right? A Louis Vuitton bag, and it's $1,000. And some people would be like, oh my God, I can't imagine spending $1,000. But if you have that bag, over 20 years, how much does that bag cost you versus how many handbags are you buying over 20 years that are disposable? And so it's just a different mindset that way.
And how many wears are you going to, if you really, really, really love the Louis Vuitton bag and you're going to wear it all the time, I think about, cost per wear even,
right.
There's certain, like I have these particular pair of like sweatpants joggers that I love, and they're expensive. Mm-hmm. I love them. I wear them every day if I could, and I have 2 pairs because I love them so much.
Yeah. I mean,
And so
it's a mindset. Yeah. Sorry.
way better. I was gonna say the cost, right? What I'm gonna get out of it is so much more than that one pair of sweatpants that I don't really like that much is gonna sit in the drawer for the next 3 years, you know?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes I will do that as well. I will see, for example, a top, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I love it. But I know because I've got a top similar to it in my closet that I don't wear. And and I really have to think about it because I'm like, you know what? I know I'm not going to wear it, even though I think it's super cute and I like it. So I do, like, I have to have this conversation with myself because again, it's going back to like what your intention is, your style. I do something in with my clients that's called branding with archetypes. And it's learning, it's learning your style and it's learning from a place of the core of who you are. And I love that because like I like jackets. I do. Like there's this classicness, funkiness that it kind of took me a while to just go, I like this. And especially I think you're not there yet, but there's a time where women start to look at their clothes and go, okay, please tell me if I'm starting to look ridiculous, like you're like, okay, well, I'm here, but I definitely don't want to look old looking, even though, I live in the South and I get a lot of ma'am, which I don't love, but it's okay. And so there's that time where you start to really go through that transition and I start to look at things and go, wow, what am I going to look like? And like a Jane Fonda, 30 years from now or whatever, or it's just so interesting to savor that. And especially when you're saying, with your body, that, yeah, as we get.
Well, I love this. You're saying it's like this vision. I mean, that's so beautiful. It's like, what is the vision for beauty when you're old? So my vision, I'm already visioned my old lady self, by the way. It's like my favorite vision, one of my favorite visions. I love grandmas. I'm excited about being an old lady, And I'm like, I've already got it. And I've said to people before, I'm like, I'm going to be one of those old ladies that wears rainbow tights and doing some weird gymnastic thing on something, and all the kids are going to crack up. And everybody that I know says, oh, I could totally see that.
Yeah, totally. Yep, that'll be me.
And so I think we build this is what's cool about life in general. It's like to create something. So whether it be the beautiful makeup on the face in one day, or, the vision of what we want in, 10, 20, 50 years from now, of what we want to be like. But that's like the first thing is like the vision, and then the body, like you're mentioning, then we feel it. We got to really feel like, what is it like to have this beautiful, makeup on my face and look and feel beautiful. We feel it, right? Because if you just have makeup on your face and you don't feel the beauty from it, it's not as beautiful.
Yeah. Or it's the armor.
The armor, yeah, exactly. So to feel it, and then, same thing with however we want our beauty to, however we want to age, basically. What do we want to have our beauty to be like over time? I really believe we can vision that. We can feel into it. I'm already planning the rainbow tights old lady hilarious part of my life.
Throw a little leopard in there.
Oh, leopard, fur, fuzzy stuff, not real fur, fuzzy stuff, all the things. I mean, I think I've seen so many wise old women, and the wisest old women that I know are having the most fun.
Absolutely. Life is too long if you're not having fun. That's just the way it is. Well, let's get into some of this learning about masculine and feminine energy, because I need this lesson here. I tend to, as a business owner and CEO, and sometimes having to deal with some vendors or men and become a dude.
Yeah, and I actually think that's great. I think part of there's this, movement towards like, women, like, strong, independent women need to embrace their feminine energy more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Mostly from the standpoint, I would argue, from a health standpoint. Because it's unhealthy to be go, 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 go. You burn out your adrenals, you burn out, hormonal imbalances happen, all of this stuff. And so from a health standpoint, I really do believe it is important. And I'll talk about kind of like the practical tools, like how do we do that, right? In a second. But what I would offer is also this idea that some of us are built with more masculine energy. Some of us are built with more feminine energy. Some of us are built with a little bit more of equal. The body tends to show, and I don't want to get into all of those details, but the body tends to show how you are built and what you have. So for example, I'm more muscular. Like I have, strong muscles, lean muscle, dense muscle. I have a lot of endurance. I can last a very long time and be fine. I don't crash. I don't, I have a lot of focus and a lot of self-discipline. And those are more masculine qualities. However, that is who I am. And I love that part of me. I think there's some women who actually diminish their masculine energy as well. They're like, oh, I shouldn't be too much. I'm being, too manly or whatever. And the truth is, if we look at Mother Earth, she's quite soft and fluffy and quite harsh and smack you down as well. So you could see all of it as feminine energy as well if you wanted to. But it's really the number one I would say is like get present with yourself. All of us, we need to get present with ourselves and figure out, who am I? What is my expression? Am I like, I'm not a baking cookies kind of woman. Will I bake cookies? Sure, if there's some other people around and people want cookies, sure, I'll make some freaking cookies, right? I'm like, I'll get into cookie zone. If people really want some cookies, I'll make some cookies. I can make cookies. But that's not something I'm going to be drawn to. I'm going to be drawn to some sort of, I'd rather spend, instead of 2 hours making cookies, 2 hours reading some philosophy of science around anything pretty much besides baking cookies.
Yeah. I am right there with you. Let me turn on Gaia TV, please.
Exactly. I'm going to elevate my consciousness right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that's just the natural way of being for many women. And just like many men aren't necessarily lumberjacks and, they're more maybe painters or create, there's a spectrum with men and women. So I just want to say all of us need to self-learn. So I love when we can kind of talk woo-woo here a little bit, because I'm a big fan of like personality tests and stuff like that. So I'm super into astrology, I've done, had my human design, had my scientific hand analysis done, on and on and on, all of these like personality tests. And I've learned that I'm a leader and I'm meant to lead. And that can be considered a more masculine energy. So here's the integration piece, how do you do masculine and feminine? So for me, it's more making sure that I'm coming from my intuition and coming and sharing from my heart. So even if I'm leading, I can be leading in a certain direction and leading and bringing the feminine through just the simple caring, the loving, the nurturing, the support, right? It doesn't have to be baking cookies. It could be giving some advice on existentialism. But it's because it's the energy behind it of I care. I want you to have a better life. I want you to live up to your greater potential. It's not just doing it to do it. So if there's personality tests you've had, or if you're into that kind of stuff, that's one way to get to know you. And then if you really just look over your life, like I played t-ball and softball and baseball for a certain period of years. And then I was a cheerleader for a certain period of years. And then, so I've done different, more kind of tomboy stuff and more girly stuff over the seasons of life. So I have both. So I'm the kind of person who has a pretty easy time taking action. Now, somebody who is a more feminine woman, who might be even more voluptuous, more hourglass shape, have more of the curvatures. Usually someone like that has more estrogen in their body and has a little more of that feminine energy. And maybe they're, you know, muffin baking, best cookie making. I have friends like that. Have friends like that if you don't have them. And they're the sweetest peaches ever. And they want to get stuff done, but they have a hard time taking action. Because they're like in this feeling state, emotional, not negative emotion, but just loving, nurturing, caring kind of state more. So if there's like, if you're that kind of person, then you probably need to get into more taking action. But if you're the kind of person who's always taking action, maybe, you know, taking more soft baths and gentle walks in the woods or something that's a little bit more in that feminine energy, earthy, softening stillness, kind of playful, dancing to music. One of the best things for the feminine too is to do something where there's no attachment to time. There's no time limit. So time is a more masculine structure. And so if you're always like very time scheduled, I'm very time scheduled because that's how I make sure that I have time off.
Yeah.
You know, so when you have time off, see if you can have some time off where it's not like, okay, I'm going to do this for 3 hours. It's like a whole day or the rest of the day. You can work till noon and then the rest of the day, whatever. There's no time to anything. And that's a really good way to get into the feminine energy as well. Just play.
Cool. We need to do that. We definitely need to be, at least for me, is be more conscious about the activities that I do. And I've never really thought of them that much from a feminine or masculine perspective. Because we are action takers and leaders and even though I live in girl world all the time, right? You know, doing makeup around women all the time. So actually for me, because I'm not around male energy that much, is something that I kind of have to seek out because of you have like this overload of estrogen, I guess, or just, you know, it's just even how they think, communicate, do business. And it's important to have, you know, both of that.
So good. I'm going to speak to this. I love this. I agree 100 and bajillion%. One of the reasons we need to be around men, safe, you know, strong, you know, the aligned kind of men, is to feel our feminine energy more because it's the polarity. It's like a battery. The you know, so if you're around a masculine man, you're going to feel more feminine. If you're around a feminine man, you're going to feel more masculine. So as a leader, even around women, because you're in the leadership role with the women, you're kind of taking the masculine role. So we need to be in that feminine role as well. And how do we do that best as women leaders often is we either, number one, have to be around another feminine leader who takes the masculine or be around the masculine. It's like a quick light switch almost. Like you're around a guy, you know how it is. It's like you're all of a sudden you're like, do, 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 do. And then you're on a guy who's like a super, you know, great masculine man who can hold space for a woman. And all of a sudden you're like, nothing's wrong. Everything's cool. Whatever. Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Again, it's being present and intuitive to what's going on. That yes, and I'm going to kind of censor my body next time when I'm in a situation like that.
So that's great. I love this because I was going to bring the body piece in now.
Yeah.
Because you said we kind of have to like, so there's the time, like how much time are we spending? You know, we got to know ourselves first, and then how much time, or do we, if we feel off balance and not in harmony, maybe shift to do a little more masculine or feminine exercises, practices, experiences. And if you're just not sure, the body is the reflection of what's going on energetically inside. So Everything is energy. And the compliments I get most are, number one, I love how real you are. Because what that means, I'm being authentic, like I'm just being me.
Yeah.
Right? Full on. Number two, I love your energy, or you have great energy, something like that. It's usually about energy. Say something like, you have great energy. Love your energy. Oh, your event had such good energy. And what that is, it's that integration that I've been working on for years. It's like that sensation of how can I be fully aligned with, which means be my true self, not worry about judgment of others, you know, not be in fear of what is coming, not be thinking about the past, nothing, just be present, be fully me. And like I said, learning that it's actually okay for me to be in my masculine energy more, because that suits me. And it's not for all women, but that suits me actually well. It's good for me. It's healthy. Great. As long as I balance with the feminine. So the body shows. So you can look at your face, you can look at your hands, you can look at your feet, you can look at your hips, you can look at any of it. So the right and the left, for example, the right side is the masculine and the left side is the feminine. So you can even look on the part of the hair. We can start there. So this isn't real evident, but this is right here. This is my right eye. Okay. So I'm parting my hair. What am I doing? I'm kind of covering the left side of my face more. So whichever side of the face you're kind of covering more is the side that tends to be, you know, there's something going on there. We'll just say there's all sorts of things that be going on, but there's something with the masculine energy. It could be the way you're living life, but it could also be stuff like masculine energy around father stuff, masculine energy around partnership stuff, masculine energy around siblings or something like that, just relationship. Maybe somebody had some challenging situations with the male gender, right? Mm-hmm. So there's all sorts of things that can happen why one would go one way or the other. I grew up with a mom that wasn't very kind to me. And so this left side of my face, my tendency was to hide that feminine side and to be strong. So the way my hair even like formed as a part over time, it used to be more on the side. And as time has gone on, it's become more center. So it's still not quite, the reason I say that, you see, it's still not quite center, but it's not too, it's just the natural part. It's not too far off. So even, you know, the eyes, the way the nose, nostrils, if you were to look up, which I'm not going to do that, that's not cute. The ears, the way the shoulders are one way or the other, you know, everything in the body will show you whether you need so I have to do more feminine energy type practices because I am naturally easily in the masculine. So my left side shoulder will tend to be a little bit tighter, a hold, you know, so I will have to work on that left side, the feminine side of, you know, relax and take baths and, you know, spend time to do my makeup and wear leopard and have gentle time where there's no time attached, you know, and hang around really safe, you know, supportive men. All of that stuff has changed, like my face, my hair part, my jaw used to be more, you know, different, like crooked. Now here's the other thing. The back of the body is the masculine, the front of the body is the feminine. So, so if the back of the body is not strong, you know, enough, or if it's overdoing, right, it might hurt. And then the front of the body, if it's not, you know, if you don't feel safe to express your feminine essence, you know, the front of the body will close off, or it'll have more pains, you know, in this kind of, like, for example, breast cancer, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm not trying to say what it is, but breast cancer in the mind-body literature is related to an imbalance in giving and receiving, so over-nurturing. The give, and then the front of the body suffers because there's not enough receiving. The feminine is not receiving enough. And so there's just this like give. So the front of the body can have some challenges, you know, if there's not enough, like for example, wrinkles on the face. If it's just go, think, we get these wrinkles on the face. But if we relax and play and just be and stuff, and let the back of the head just kind of relax back, the wrinkles go away. Interesting, right?
Yes. Yes. I know, it's fascinating. I'm like gripped listening to this.
I know I made a few notes. So I just wanted to make sure. Oh, a couple things here. So, because I know a lot of your audience is, not only women, but also like maybe entrepreneurs or business owners or, creatives. And so I just want to say another piece of the body and the energy and everything that will be off. So if you have like one foot that hurts or something going on in, your back or something, it also could be if you're not doing the work you love in the world. So say you have a job and you hate it, your body is probably going to, not only your energy, but your also physical form is going to show up kind of off balance, either your back and to the front or left to right, maybe up and down, but you don't see it as much there. So, relationships as well. So anything like if you're not living in alignment with yourself in any part of your life, you're not going to be as beautiful. And I wish that wasn't the truth, but if you don't like the work you love, you're not going to be as beautiful. If you're not in a relationship that's in alignment with your personal vision, you're not going to be as beautiful. If you're, not taking care of the physical body and it's, you're stressed out and not softening enough or not taking action enough, you're not going to be as beautiful. Because beauty is often from a visual standpoint, all about balance and harmony between the sides and the pieces and parts of the body.
Yeah.
And it reflects a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to mention one thing because I've always found this fairly interesting is, for example, when a client will come in and will either, do a makeup application or a makeup lesson and they'll say, I'm like, oh my gosh, your husband's gonna, you'll have to go out to dinner with your husband. And then I doubt he'll even notice. And I like that blows my mind that you could be that invisible to your partner.
Mm-hmm.
So can
this
you
is great.
get into that?
Yeah, I love this. This is great. This is deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it can also, I've also had the other side before you go into that. I've also had the other side. This is actually a really cute story that I was doing an event. I was in, I think like Tennessee or someplace, I don't know, at a spa. And we were doing makeovers with one of the other makeup artists there. And this lady was so cute, and they just book them up because I'm like, the owner of the company and blah, blah, blah. And this one lady, she comes in and she was so cute. And I taught her how to do her makeup. And then of course they would buy products and whatnot. And I was there for 2 days. And she came and I said, oh my gosh, she goes, yeah, my husband's going to take me to dinner and, this and that. And I said, oh, that's so great. Cute. And so, and we're just like kind of churning out different people. And she came back the next day and she said, oh my gosh, I just want to thank you. She says, my husband gave me his credit card and said, you need to buy all the rest of those things that you didn't get yesterday because you need to learn. You look so beautiful. And she goes, girl, we had a really good night.
So cute. I love that. Like, who are you?
At that story, like she just got it on all over the place. And he was like, here's my credit card.
Go get the rest.
It was just so fun. But on the other side of that, yeah, like what is that? What is that? Why would you be in that space? So share.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few layers here, I believe. Number one, what I would say is I would go back to like, who did they marry?
Mm-hmm.
Because not all men love women with makeup on.
That's true.
Some men actually prefer the opposite, So I would start there. It's like, did you marry a kind of guy that likes you with makeup on? And if not, cool, but, instead of being like, oh, he probably won't even notice, recognize I married a man he's not really that into makeup on me. And that's okay. I'm doing it for me. Right. So it's not like maybe he's not supposed to notice because that's not his thing. Right?
I never thought about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that would be the first thing. And then if it's not that, there's surely some sort of underlying issue, basically, of like, if she goes from more plain Jane to just glamour queen, maybe not all that, extreme, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he doesn't notice, there's something else going on. And I would offer that maybe this idea, like we were talking earlier about, like a shield, armor, like maybe this makeup in that situation where he's not even going to notice because it's an armor. It's not from the loving, caring, I want to feel fun and beautiful and cute. It's from like a strong thing, stronger standpoint. I need to cover something up, or I need to feel this way so that I feel, look this way so I feel differently. And so there's a lot to play with there. And I just think it's either you married somebody who doesn't like makeup, or you guys got something going on where he can't see you on some level. And what I can say is the only way we can really be seen is to be ourselves. And so whether that means wearing the makeup or not wearing the makeup, being the self in all parts of the relationship, or probably, being the self from a loving standpoint, a caring about the other person standpoint. I would say, what I'm going to share something with you that I don't share very often, but I would used to joke, and I say I was always in trouble with my husband when I was married. And I said I was always in trouble for not doing something I was supposed to do, or doing something I wasn't supposed to do. And I used to joke about it, right? And of course, we're not together anymore. And, we've found beautiful forgiveness and all the things. But one of the things I would get in trouble for was I would not recognize when he got a haircut. And he got a haircut every 3 weeks. So I was in trouble a lot for his haircut.
Because you didn't recognize him getting a haircut?
Nope. He'd be like, you never noticed I get a haircut. I'm like, dude, you get it every 3 weeks, and I never cut my hair. So it's not like my thing. Like, I'm sorry. I'll try harder. Tell me next time you're going to go. When you come home, I'll tell you. He's like, you're such a, I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so, and it would just be kind of this ring around the rosy. And so I would say that for those of us who maybe want to be noticed more, say, like, instead of it being like he probably won't, it's hope for it. Hope he will. And then also, there's this idea of beauty we're coming back to. Come with the makeup on in a beautiful energy. Not harsh, not too soft and weak, but something in between. So, if I look back and I would have said, okay, how can I make sure that this person gets the needs they need by saying great haircut? Like, I could have created some sort of system or some way, right? to figure out how, but we weren't mature enough yet at that point to figure out how to communicate, right? Yeah. And I would say a lot of women, I mean, that's not even me, it's research. There's tons of research out there, but most women don't even ask for what they need. And so if a woman would love for her husband to say, honey, you look beautiful, you might need to ask him. You might need to tell him what makes you feel good. He may not know. He may not know.
I just, exactly, when you were just talking about that, it just all boils down to communication, whether it is, energetically, voice, eyes, and being more in tune. That's exactly it. Because you can both be in a room and not even be present. And that's so much of but that's a whole other conversation for a different day.
Yeah. And I mean, that's where, I wrote down in my notes, it was like, what's the steps? It's like, number one, get present. Get present and feel yourself and feel the body and feel, and that presence with self is how somebody else feels us as well. So like, if we want to be seen by our partner, we need to feel ourselves fully and see ourselves fully.
Mm. So Lila, share, well, I mean, you did share a whole bunch of things that we can look at, but what is one thing that somebody could put in place quickly that could make a difference of just, feeling more beautiful?
I would say the first thing is mirror work. Start with the mirror work, look at yourself in the mirror, because you're really not going to feel beautiful until you can look at yourself in the mirror and love every part of yourself. You're not going to have that full feeling of beauty. So mirror work, where it's just like, look in front of the mirror, parts you like, parts you don't like, tell everything you love it. I love you, belly. 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 5 times until you really believe it and you embody that feeling and that energy. And then the other piece is, there's a lot of resources out there around the mind-body connection. Mm-hmm. And I would say if you're really, interested in learning more about feeling beautiful, having energies that are aligned in your life, having the kind of mindset that creates beauty, all of that, the mind-body awareness movement, just all the resources out there. One of the best books, the quintessential resource is, and I've brought it forward so many times on interviews I've done, is Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. So it's You Can Heal Your Life, which is you can heal your body, you can heal your beauty, you can heal everything, which, is really finding harmony and balance and your dharma. What are you supposed to do in life? And the body tells you, the way you take action, whether it works or not, or how, how it feels as you go, tells you what your dharma is. And when you're on that path, you feel more beautiful. And the mind-body connection resources, like that book, are really good ways to understand what's going on with you, so you can harmonize all the energy.
That's fabulous. Wow. Well, Lila, thank you so much. This has been, I could talk, we could talk for hours.
I love you so much. I'm so grateful that you're doing this and that you're really bringing in, what I feel there's like a deeper essence of beauty through this summit. So I appreciate being here. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I know that you do have a gift for the viewers as well. Can you speak a little bit about that, what they can and how they can reach you, follow you, all of that good stuff?
Yes. Well, first of all, I like to say I always love new social media friends. I'm on social media quite a bit. So that's really fun for me. I'm Lila Veronica, Lila, Lila Veronica on Facebook and Instagram. I'm on Facebook mostly. But what I've provided is a free, it's 10 short 10-minute videos on 10 parts of the body. And what it is, it helps you basically find more balance, because most of us are going toward imbalance and we're going to be old and crickety. And so I'm going to try to help. It's a posture practice. It's an alignment practice that I'm sharing. It's Body with Lila, Lila, bodywithlila.com. It's a free little series, and you can kind of see where you are in terms of how your body is and relative to balance and imbalances.
Love it. That's so generous of you. Thank you so much. You are just beautiful, beautiful soul. So much has been shared, and yeah, mirror work. Let's put our belts on, girls. And some people, and you're not the only one, you're not the only speaker that has spoken of, you went a little bit more in depth, but it's a very vulnerable space to go into and do that mirror work, but it is very powerful too. So just like you, my friend.
Thank you. You're amazing.
You too. It's so good to reconnect with you again and see you and
we always have fun.
I know.
Always have fun.
We will see each other soon. And thank you very much. Thank you, all the viewers watching this, and live life beautifully. Bye.